for having me, everybody. I am pumped to be here. Let me tell you, so I was in ELP cohort 2, and it's been a little while, so I feel like I'm coming home to my roots a little bit, get to experience an intensive, but I'm only coming in for one session, and I realize y'all have been at it all day, and I am in between you leaving for the day, and your head is probably about to explode. And I have a lot of data, so I didn't plan this well. However, we're going to try to have some fun in the next 45 minutes, as soon as the slides get up. One thing I will say is it's nice to see some familiar faces. As Mary Beth said, I am Vice President of Marketing and Consumer Innovation, and so I've worked with some of you on areas like driving volume to the business, figuring out what your great marketing ROI is, making sure that we're driving the right service lines to the right people at the right time when we have the right access as well. I've worked with you all, I've worked with others, maybe even on the consumer side. I don't want to talk about that crisis we experienced together, Christina. But from a crisis perspective, and I won't call many of you out for the reputation management issues that we've mitigated together, but I know we've partnered together on much of that as well. So today I have the opportunity just to talk a little bit more about the consumer. And when you think about my role, what I am incredibly humbled and blessed to get to do each and every day is to really stitch together all of these consumer experiences. So when you think about areas like social media and reviews, when you think about areas like chat and care advocacy or our telephony systems, you start to see all of these consumer interactions starting to blend together to give us an opportunity to really tell the full story of the consumer. You got me going right in time. Let's see if the clicker works now. Tell me where to point it. I don't think it's working yet, but it's okay, I'll keep talking. You want me to keep talking? All right. So it's this opportunity to stitch together all of what our consumers do. One thing that I love about our Vision 2030 is just how we not only say that we're going to be this consumer-focused company, we say we're going to be known for being a consumer-focused company. Do you all hear that distinction? We're going to be known for being a consumer-focused company. That means that we're going to be out front. That means that we're going to have thought leadership about this. Can you imagine us training other healthcare systems on how to be consumer-focused? Can you imagine having each one of you on stages talking about consumer centricity? That's the goal. That's where we're going to be. So let me catch up here. So as we think about what this means, I have one question for you all. Who in this room wakes up thinking about the consumer every day? Got some hands. Who feels like they have accountability and responsibility for how the consumer experiences Advent Health? I'm really glad you all said that, because while I have consumer in my title, I'm not naive enough to think that my team or any of Vicky's downline can really fully support the consumer on our own. It is a team effort. So I'm really glad that I think every hand went up in the last question. So today I want to paint a picture just of where our consumers are, kind of what they're looking for. I'm going to do that through a number of data sources. So I'll talk you through Edelman's Trust Barometer. Anybody heard of that? Andrea, you don't count because I know you are all in that research. Has anybody heard of the Edelman Trust Barometer? Okay, I'm going to talk you through some slides on that. I'll talk through Trilliant Health data, which is just incredibly insightful. I'll talk a little bit about a marketing war room study. We do this pulse survey on a weekly basis, and we get really rich insights as well. And then I'll use some data from a presentation from Sam Glick, which is pretty powerful. But first, before getting into the data, it's really hard to talk about our consumers if we don't talk about what the pandemic did to change them, right? Consumer behavior has changed. And so when we look at this, we now see that since before the beginning of the pandemic, people are educating themselves more than ever about their own health. And not only that, they're verifying the sources in which they're getting that data from, because they lived through that era of misinformation, right? So what we can translate this to is that our consumers are more empowered than ever. This is concerning. Anybody, is anybody a physician in the room? Anybody go to med school? Okay. And I was a little concerned bringing this in, so that's good. The average person who has done their own research is just as knowledgeable on most health matters as doctors. That was a survey question, and if we look, nearly 1 in 2 of those ages 18 to 34 agree.